typically you're taught that like throwing is part of your warm up. You throw to
Yeah.
warm up. But as a pitcher, you need to warm up to throw.
Mm.
You can't. Like, for example, a couple months ago, I was throwing at a high school field with one of my buddies, and we're doing our warm up. We've both done a dynamic warm up, gotten through a band routine, starting to throw weighted balls. And like as we're throwing weighted balls, this group of high school kids who played at that school show up and they just hop on the field. And one of them does like forearm circles. One of them does the old like shrug. One is just like yanking on his arm. And then the other one, like there's four of them. The other one just doesn't do anything. And then they just start throwing. And then by the time me and my friend are done our weighted balls and like getting ready to pick up a baseball for the first time, we'd been there almost an hour. And these kids are already out at 200 feet long tossing.
Wow.
And it's just like, it's not their fault. They just don't know any better.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing is people don't know until they learn. So like as a position player, typically you're taught that like throwing is part of your warm up. You throw to warm up. But as a pitcher, you need to warm up to throw.
Mm.
You can't like this thing is what you're trying to make a living on.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you got to treat that thing right. You can't just go out there and like blink and be at 200 feet. Your arm's not ready for that. Even if it feels fine, you might not realize what you're doing to yourself, because that's the biggest thing is a lot of people, like I feel good, like keep going. But you need to know what days are the days to push the gas, what days are the days to push the brakes. And that was something that took me a very long time to learn. And that's basically what a plan and a program do for you.
Absolutely.
They tell you when to go and when to ease off.
Absolutely.
And if you're on your own trying to figure that out, I've been there, and it's so hard because my arm feels good today. I want to keep going. Why not? I long tossed yesterday. Who cares? Like I feel good again. Why not just keep going?
Is that, guys, once they reach those, upperclassmen levels of high school, they start to distinguish themselves as being guys who like, I want to be a pitcher in college, right? I want to like, this is what I'm going to, be able to do at the next level, right? It's pitching. And, you go from being this like two-way guy who just warms up with everyone else. And in the third inning, you go from shortstop onto the mound and you start pitching, right? And you go from that to being, the guy who is now a PO. And now the only thing that you have to do is learn how to pitch. There's so much work that goes into being, the guy that you watch on TV, right? If you watch big leaguers and their routines, and even professional and elite college baseball players and even elite high school baseball players are taking their throwing seriously. And it goes beyond just like, showing up. It's having a plan that, spans over 8 weeks, right? It spans over an entire year, right? This plan and program that, guys like, and they follow, right? And like you said, it's just like, it's not the fault of the high school kids who don't know any better, right? They just don't know any better, right? And
yeah, they haven't been taught. You can't fault someone if they haven't been shown. So
exactly. And the cool thing for me is that is why DJ League baseball is a thing, right? Because I watched, even myself, and we were talking a little bit before this about how, when I was in high school, just the things that I did, and now I can look back and call them stupid, right? These are stupid things that I did, but at the time I wasn't being stupid. I just didn't know any better, right? It's just you've learned and gained so much information over the last 6-7 years, and you can give that to people in simple programs that allows them to practice and train like elite college baseball players and like elite professional baseball players and like big leaguers. Really, they're training like big leaguers for the price of one in-person lesson, right? You can go to one in-person lesson a week, pay $80, and you can get all the mechanical stuff, right? But for a program, that spans over 8 weeks and allows you to do the things and train the same way that, elite players are doing. So I love how well, like what you said, fits into like what we're trying to do.